Thank you for listening to the Gateway to the Rockies podcast from Visit Aurora from the rafters of the Stanley Marketplace. This is the show dedicated to telling the stories of Aurora, Colorado. Hi there, I'm Dave, the Director of Marketing for Visit Aurora. This summer, the Town Center at Aurora is hosting Mershops Market Days the last 2 Saturdays of each month through September. It's a vibrant outdoor market bringing together local farmers, fresh produce, baked goods, and unique finds from local artisans, all set to the backdrop of some fantastic live music. Today, we're joined by 2 people helping make that vision a reality. First, Katrina Karczewski, the market manager and Colorado Farmers Market Association board member and champion for small businesses entering the farmers market world. We're also joined by Charlie Larsen of Wolf Creek Fresh, a local vendor focused on regenerative agriculture, holistic wellness, and helping people fuel their bodies and minds through intentional living. Welcome, Katrina and Charlie. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Katrina, I want to start with you. You've helped build a lot of successful markets. I'm thinking Green Valley Ranch and the market at Painted Prairie. What excited you about bringing Mershops Market Days to Town Center in Aurora? And what was the opportunity you saw at this location?
It's really fun for me because it's a full circle moment. I started my very first career working in the malls. And so for me to, gives me chills. For me to be able to bring all of these brand new businesses into this space, one of my goals is, whether you've never made a sale in your life or you're ready to outgrow markets, is to just help your business grow. And so partnering with Mershop Markets is one of the best ways I can think to do that. There's this ability to bring all of these incredible local businesses to that space, to introduce them to the mall team. And if and when they want to outgrow us, they can then maybe become a partner inside of the mall too. And so just to give that before and after kind of look. And also, gosh, the team there is so on fire about having a market and bringing the community together. I have never seen a mall so dedicated to a community, and having Chelsea and Joel there being a part of that is just huge.
Yeah, Town Center Aurora has been a gathering place for literally generations of Aurora residents. They celebrated their 50th anniversary just last year. In your view, how does a community market kind of help reimagine what a shopping center can be, especially in 2026?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because we are reimagining what shopping is, period.
Yeah.
There's so much that happens online, but I think with this huge rise of AI internet, stuff that isn't real, I think people are just craving that local touch, that community, like hearing live music, having a band they're playing while you're shopping for your local foods, your local products, helping your local businesses grow, I think is more important than ever. That local economy, when you spend $1 in your own space that you live, more of that money goes back into helping your town rebuild itself to make it a more comfortable place to live, as opposed to it getting, some company that you've never met in some other state or country, right? And so it's just really reimagining what it means to shop local. And I think it's really cool that you have that mix in the mall to be able to have that indoor-outdoor space too, right? We have that really fun, vibrant outdoor festival feeling. And then if someone wants to go inside and, get something from there as well, more power to them, right? It's just going to really help that circular economy.
One of the fantastic local vendors, Wolf Creek Fresh. Charlie, tell us about Wolf Creek Fresh. What inspired you to create a business centered around regenerative agriculture, wellness, and intentional living?
Well, it actually was a very personal experience. It was my husband's health. He was diagnosed after the birth of our 3rd child with late onset type 1 diabetes. Oh. So he had been working really hard because originally he was diagnosed as type 2, but he didn't look like your typical type 2 diabetic. And so he was working really hard on his health, and he was trying to figure out, what he needed to do and what he needed to change. And the changes weren't making any difference. While we were trying to fight his health battles, we're raising our family, and we wanted to have more healthful, more intentional eating with our kids. There's so much junk that's available, and we all know that the body operates better on whole foods. And so we just kind of married that all together. And I call it my husband's midlife crisis. Instead of meeting a fast sports car or a hot new trophy wife, he just decided, let's go be farmers. And I said, well, okay. And so we moved out to the Eastern Plains. We moved from the Denver Tech Center area out to the Eastern Plains, and bought a farm, and actually bought raw land and have built this farm. We know what's going into that soil. We know that the fruits and vegetables that are coming out of it are nutrient dense because of the biodiversity that we're using. We know that there aren't any chemicals or pesticides or residuals in it. And we just wanted to produce that bounty and share that with everyone else, so whoever else was interested in that type of thing.
Now, did you and the husband have an acumen in farming, or are you learning trial by fire? Because that seems like quite the endeavor.
It really was. Well, my husband, I have generations of farmers in my family, but I grew up in the city, just outside of Chicago. And he grew up just outside of, or just in the city, in Salt Lake City, in Utah. And so he just thought because I visited the farm every summer that I would know what to do. And I had to say, whoa. I said, I know how to do farm chores, but nobody taught me how to like actually run a farm.
Yeah.
So we actually partnered with the CU, the Ag Extension here, and CU, and went back. They have a beginning farmers program, which is a phenomenal asset. It talks both about growing and about integrated pest management and all the things that you need to grow an urban type agriculture. You can do it urban or you can do it rural. And they then also help you to get together a business plan. So we went through that. We did some investment. We did some planning. My husband has been an entrepreneur. We had a couple of businesses in Denver. And when we first moved out here, he was commuting back and forth. And then 2020 hit, and we were like, you know what? We wanted to sell these businesses anyway, because I wanted him to be a full-time farmer. So we just closed up shop and took the leap, and there we are.
That is quite a leap. Katrina, the first event hasn't happened yet as of the recording of this episode. It'll be on the 20th of June. For listeners, can you paint a picture of a typical market day? What can the visitors expect when they arrive?
Yeah, I think one of the first things that you're going to notice is all of the vendors are so happy to be there. Even though they just spent an hour, 2 hours, setting up basically their little mobile storefronts, they're going to be so excited to share whatever their personal passion is with you. And so if you have any questions about where the food comes from at Charlie's farm, or, how to make sourdough bread, or, where your ingredients are coming from, there are going to be so many people there that just want to share their gifts with you. And so come for the incredible vibes, the incredible food, all of the local products that are handmade and the music, but leave with a new family, a new friendship, a new someone to reach out to. We have so many people who are just, everything from like doulas to farmers to candle makers and in between. And so it's really such a unique environment to be able to experience all of that together. And we do spend the whole summer together. So it's kind of like a summer camp feeling. If you start coming back every week, it's going to be like that, cheers moment or that summer camp feeling where you'll be sad when the summer ends. You're going to miss all of your friends.
There seems to be a yearning for a sense of community now that we're so, deeply tied to technology. There seems to be, a yearning for us to reconnect with one another. And here's a great opportunity to do that. You touched on this a little bit, being involved with the Colorado Farmers Market Association. But speak to the evolution of farmers markets and where you see it heading in terms of an endeavor, this year and beyond.
Yeah, just in general, I don't think that it's possible to have too many of them. Colorado alone, is home to, if you go to coloradoproud.com, you can see an entire booklet where every farmer's market in the state and every farm and farm stand, and it's still not enough, right? There are still people in communities that don't have it. And so I really do see a way for this to just continue to evolve, to continue to be localized, continue to be business incubators. And I know I actually love working with Charlie too. I've been helping. I have this program where I teach vendors how to make their first sale, a coaching program called Vendor Ready. But it's also helping teach people like Charlie, who's bringing markets to where she lives as well, out east a little bit more. And so I just think that community, there's so much abundance. There are so many humans in our towns that have skills and talents and passions. And I think we're just all so exhausted from the grind, from this idea that you have to work 9 to 5 for someone else to just pay your rent or your mortgage and then, live for your 2 weeks of vacation a year, right? And so there's a huge joke about how great, I became an entrepreneur so I could quit my 9 to 5 and now I work, every hour of the day, all of the time. But it's so different when it's for your passion. And so I think the evolution is for both things. It's for the individuals who want to be the businesses, and it's for those who crave that community and want to be a part of that. And I really think it's important to literally touch the dirt, the earth where you live. And so if people like Charlie and, I have nurseries that come and garden coaches that come, if they can just teach you how to even plant one plant and grow one piece of food in your yard, and you actually get connected to your own space and time, that's huge, right? That really connects us all. And I just don't see it ever stopping. I think, it's the most radical thing you can do is grow your own food and be a part of a circular economy.
Charlie, there's a beautiful convergence of science and nature with your company. You blend fresh produce with, supplements that are designed to support energy and mental clarity. Can you talk about maybe your philosophy when it comes to the connection between food, wellness, and, overall quality of life?
Oh, absolutely. And anymore, people don't see that. And that's a lot of what I do is just draw that connection, because when I spit out a fact or something, they already have heard it. They already know that. But then I put it together for them and connect the dots, like cucumbers. Everybody knows cucumbers are good for you. They're a diuretic. Did you know that they had a ton of B12 vitamins? And then, okay, so what do I want to do with this? Well, that B12 gives you more energy than a cup of coffee. And a cup of coffee has got caffeine in it, which is often dehydrating to you. So what if you took your cucumber and you sliced it up with a lemon and put it in a pitcher of water in your refrigerator? Well, now you're going to get your B12, your energy boost. You're going to be feeling a ton better, and you're going to be drinking more water, and you might be losing a little bit of weight. You might have more energy. You might be ready to go out and work outdoors or walk outdoors. What if you just took a walk outdoors? Well, now you're boosting your mood, and you're maybe, again, supporting that weight loss. These are all things that work circularly to improve your lifestyle, to improve your outlook, to help you live longer and feel better. And I love drawing those connections for people on something as simple as a cucumber, right? I mean, that's a simple vegetable, and everybody's like, yeah, it's a cucumber. Well, some people love them. Some people are like, yeah, it's okay.
The market itself creates that direct connection between you and consumers. And, Katrina touched on this just a little bit, but how does that face-to-face interaction, that touch point, differ for you in what you're trying to accomplish as opposed to traditional retail channels or, online selling?
That is my favorite part. I want people to come out to the farm. I want people to know more. I want them to know their farmers so that they can ask me questions like, how do you grow this? And is this organic? I love it when they ask me, is it organic? Organic is a certification we do not hold. So I can't say it's organic, but I can say it's holistic. And, so we grow healthy, and there are steps you can take. Maybe you're not ready to give up every bit of your favorite little sin or whatever it is, but you can give up, maybe you're not going to cut out sugar entirely, but you can find sweetness in berries and in fruits and in melons, and you can find substitutes that you can make. I love having that connection and finding out what our customers are looking for and how I can support them. Like Katrina was saying, if you can plant a plant in your yard, sometimes we have a favorite herb. And I'm like, did you know that grows like a weed? This is one of the easiest things you can plant. And they're like, really? I said, oh yeah, I can bring you a cutting to the next market. And then let's go plant this in your yard, like Katrina says. And that helps them. And then they're like, well, I like this herb, but I wasn't ever going to use it. But now I can, right? Because now I have my own supply and I can do it all the time. And it just builds that community. I love being face to face with them. I love interacting. I mean, if I could get paid to talk all day, I'm going to do it. So.
Same.
Yeah. And Katrina, that talks to another one of your passions, helping first-time vendors succeed. You've created training programs, that encompass booth design and pricing insurance and market readiness. Talk a little bit about that passion for helping those first-time vendors.
Yeah, I absolutely will. But before I do, I just want to say one thing that blows everyone's mind about why you should buy things from people like Charlie at a market. The average piece of lettuce travels 1,000 to 2,000 miles before it gets to your plate.
Wow.
So most of our lettuce is created into cities in our country. And so what you get from the grocery store is that far away. And so just thinking about how amazing it is that you can just buy some greens at the local market that's literally, within 10 to 30 miles of your home is cool. And so that's just a huge thing that I don't think anybody really thinks about. And then to bring it to the training program. So I absolutely love getting people to start before they're ready. You barely need anything to start a business. It is so easy in the state of Colorado to be a part of, get an EIN and start a business. And I just want you to get to your first sale. And once you learn how to do that, the sky is the limit. And so I love to teach people how to just show up and do what they're passionate about. And I've had this couple of amazing success stories where I had this one vendor who they came to my very last market of the season. They were like, hey, I want to be a vendor, but you only have one market left. How in the world? Why would you accept me? I have this idea, but you only have one market left. And I was like, no, do it. This is the perfect time to do research and development. See if you even like this.
Right.
See if you even like this business idea. So I invited them to the market. They sold. It was wildly successful. And then that gave them the entire winter to reiterate their ideas, to look around for, what actually works. Because we can read in a book all day long. We can watch videos all day long of how to do something, but you have no idea what it takes to show up and make your first sale unless you actually do it. So I want you to do it unprepared and scared. I am there with you. I am going to help you through it. I'm going to give you all of the necessary things you need to be legal and vendor ready. And so that part is amazing. But then I also love meeting vendors where they're at. So many of the people that I've met over the past 5 or so years that I've been running these markets, they're somewhere else in their journey. It's not their first sale. They've been doing it for a couple of years. They're doing it so side hustle kind of, way and just throwing things together and hoping things stick. And I love seeing them and meeting them where they're at and trying to teach them how to grow. And so I have 20 years of sales in my background. I was a regional director of sales. I had multiple states, hundreds of employees, multiple stores. And it's the same for everything. It's the same for a tiny little, market all the way up to the millions and millions and millions of dollars I've made for companies. And so just teaching them what it means to grow your business, make a sale, be consistent, but then also not be afraid to try new things. I hope I answered any of your questions.
Yeah, you actually answered a couple of my follow-ups as well. I'm curious. I'm always curious about how the sausage is made a little bit. When you're selecting vendors for a market, obviously you're looking for a good product. You're looking for a reputable business. But what are some of the intangibles? What are some of the things that make a good business for a market that you're working on?
Yeah, your story, 100%. So one of the first things I teach people is how to get your application noticed at markets. think about it like a resume. You don't realize, you think, especially with AI, you think like, oh, having AI or a computer help you create like your answers to your questions, you think it's helping. But once a person is receiving all those applications, they start hearing the same voice and they don't hear yours. So the biggest thing you can do is have your own opinions, your own voice, your own style. And so, for example, the Cottage Food Act here in Colorado is incredible. So many people can make baked goods at home within certain parameters and not really need very much to make their first business. So with it being so accessible, there are, I get easily 100 vendors that are like, I make cookies.
Right.
Can I sell cookies at your market? And I'm just like, I only can have X amount of people selling that product. What makes you different? Explain to me how your cookies are made. I want to hear that you are creating your own homemade vanilla extract to flavor this, and you're creating your own marshmallow fluff and your own. I want to hear your ingredients, your process. I want to hear why it's important to you. And it cannot be generic. You are not generic. You are such a beautiful, unique individual. But when you tell me an answer like, well, I only want to, make food that I'm willing to feed my family. Well, that's such a generic answer. There shouldn't be a human out there that's going to like feed their family poison on purpose.
Right.
Like everyone thinks that what they're making is great for their family. So like, why is it important? So when you have someone like Charlie talk about how important it is that seed to sale, basically, I know where these seeds came from. I know what dirt they were planted in. I know whatever. And so I have this other vendor who is a sourdough maker. And we have tons of people who made sourdough. I don't know if it was your hobby during COVID or not, but it was kind of the cool thing to do.
Yeah, it was.
And so we have some really incredible products that are made from sourdough with people with tons of years of experience now. But this one particular person, they use Colorado milled flour, but it's nowhere in their marketing except for this like tiny little byline, right? So like make that part of your story. Right. Talk about exactly why I should choose you out of the other 100 people that are all vying for the same 3 to 4 spots, right? And so that is exactly what it takes. So the balance of making a market is so much of my job. I want to make sure that not only is it a good feeling for the community and they have enough variety, but I also want to make sure that the vendors are all going to be profitable, that your business is going to make money. I can't simply just have I'll bring in 15 cookie vendors to a 20, vendor market, unless it was a cookie fair. And that is the event. The event was how you go to the taco, tasting or whatever, and every single tent has a taco, but that's different. That's not what a farmer's market is. It should be something where each and every individual is so unique that you're going to want to buy one thing from every single one of those shops that you meet, because you want to see, can I tell the difference that this was milled here? Can I tell the difference that this Japanese milk bread was fermented for this long and that it was made by someone who actually, had grown up with this in their family and has the secret family recipe, right? Those kinds of things, I think, is what really makes me recognize who you are as a vendor and get your application to stand out.
If only you had some passion for this, I think that would be helpful.
I know, right? Gosh.
Charlie, I'm curious specifically about Wolf Creek Fresh. All of your babies are special and beautiful, but what are some of the products that you're particularly proud of?
One of the things that I love and my customers love is it's called Blacktail Watermelon. It's the watermelon variety that I've chosen. It was bred up in Idaho by just a phenomenal guy, and it's at this point it's been 60 years ago now, but it is designed for our Colorado plains. It is super sweet. It is delicious. It germinates and grows well with cool overnight temperatures, which a lot of watermelons don't. They just want that heat. And it comes out practically perfect every time. I love that watermelon. I love honey rock cantaloupe. I don't know as much about it other than it was one of those seeds that I got. It looked really good. We tried it, and it is so sweet. And it's kind of, it just grows. And again, it's really vital to this area. Another product that I love that is amazing to me was when I found out that free range eggs, when you know the names of the chickens, they're just so much better than something you get at the grocery store. I had no idea that there was such a difference in fresh, homegrown, free range, loved on chickens and their eggs than it is on, what's farmed and sent to the grocery stores. And it, as Katrina said, takes weeks to get there. But there is the difference. The yolk stands up. Everybody knows is when they have those fresh eggs. So those are some of my favorite products that I like to work with.
Katrina touched on this a little bit earlier, but the idea of vendors, kind of doing that market research in time in person, getting that touch point with your customers directly in a farmer's market. What's something that you've learned from your customers that has surprised you or changed how you approach your work through, engaging with them at these markets?
Absolutely. Sometimes when we first started out, we had so many varieties of so many things. I mean, if you went to our website, you'd find out we had, like 65 things we were growing, and it would be 12 varieties of tomatoes. Well, during that time, I found out, tomatoes there are a difference. You've got your really Italian rustic acidic tomatoes that have that really robust Italian flavor. And then you've got your sweet tomatoes, and it's fun to see which ones people like. Same thing with your cherry tomatoes. I grow a variety that is just delicious. 2 varieties that are just delicious off the vine. And one is a very traditional red cherry tomato that is just super tasty. But then the other one that people love, and it's harder to get to market, but I try to bring it anyway, is called Sun Gold tomatoes. And they're an orange cherry tomato, and they're like tomato candy. I'm not kidding you. Kids that don't like tomatoes will eat those straight off the vine. And so that's why I tried. They're a little more tender. And so that's why I try to bring them to market. They don't travel as well as the other tomato, but it's just interesting to see what they want. And that was one of the fun things, was drilling down as I started producing, is like, well, what do you want to see? And what I really like doing too is I like working with our customers, and we've been able to do that up until this point. Like even at the last market that I went to on Wednesday, somebody came in, they were asking about my pricing on rhubarb, and they're like, is that $4 a stalk? And I was like, no, that's $4 a bunch. And they're like, well, how much is a bunch? Because I just have a bucket of rhubarb sitting there. And I'm like, well, a bunch is whatever you need. If you're making a pie and you need 8 cups, then take 8 cups. That's your bunch. I just want to make sure my vegetables have a good home. I don't want them to go to waste. So take what you need, and that's the way we'll price that. And their eyes just got big like dinner plates. And that was just fun connecting with them on that level.
Katrina, Mershop Market Days kicks off here as of the recording of this episode next weekend. What's your vision? What would success look like, at the end of this season, or a year or two from now for both the vendors and the community?
Yeah, with any new market that we run, it is just going to be like a flower. It is going to blossom and grow. There's also going to be time of rest and then for rebirth and growing, right? And so what I see happening with this is for the very first market, it is going to be such a beautifully curated, selective group of people that I know are going to provide value and incredible products to the community. We are going to prove to everyone that this is that they want. This is the kind of community they want. This is the kind of market they want. And it's just going to explode and grow. So what usually happens over a season, at least at my markets, is I'm constantly enrolling new vendors. Because imagine if I had said no, everyone had to know their entire summer plans by like February 1st, and that's it, it's done. I wouldn't have never gotten that brand new business to start at the end of summer. And then that person actually quit their job. This is what they do full time. This is now their company, right? So what I eventually see it happening even just throughout this one season is every week that you come back, expansion, growth, new faces, new vendors, some brand new entrepreneurs are going to be there, along with others that have been in the business for 10, 20 years who are like, oh, wow, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this community. So there's something in the farmers market world called the zombie walk. I don't know if you've ever been to like an extremely busy, like thousands, even any event, not even farmers markets, right? Like where there's just thousands of people and you really can't get to like the business that you're trying to get to because there's whatever, just so many people. So it's the zombie walk. No one's really like able to engage with every single vendor. I really try to curate my markets in a way that there's space and time for you to have real connection, real conversation where you get to share your real passions and your growth. And so the cool thing about this space, especially at Mershop Market Days, is that it's huge. We're not going to be packed in like sardines. Right. We have the ability to grow as big, as far as wide as the community is going to allow us to and want us to. And so what I envision for right now is for everyone to remember, bring a lawn chair, set it up. There's free live music. There's going to be so many things there to eat. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be so many snacks. And so I want you to come and hang out. This is what you are going to be there to do. And as you're hanging out, start being inspired. Maybe something in you is going to be like, oh, like maybe I could sell my paintings. Maybe I could try this idea that I've had and just try it. You never know. You never know. I always make this joke about how there's something deep inside of us that we're meant to do. And you don't know unless you try it. Like you may have no idea that you were meant to be a basket weaver because whenever would you have ever gotten the opportunity to like try to weave a basket, right? And so like meeting these vendors, there's so much abundance. They want to share their love and joy with you. And so if you were like, oh man, that crochet woman like has so many cool things, I want to learn how to do that. They're going to show you how to get started. They're going to tell you what resources to use. So like, don't be afraid to be a part of the community. You are what makes our markets happen. Markets don't just happen overnight. They don't just happen from one person. And so I see that growth. I see this thing being sustained throughout the years. I know that, this particular community, Mershop Markets, they want this to be just explosive and year after year. And so I'm excited. I can't wait to see the growth. I can't wait to see the community come together. It already is such a great place for everyone to gather. And now we've got this. And I just feel grateful.
Charlie, what has your experience been like as a vendor?
Well, I have to say, it's just been phenomenal. I love talking to all the people and I love the community. But what I noticed, I've only been two markets in. And what I noticed is that I have so much support from the vendors who have the experience and have been there. They want to see me succeed. They're giving me tips. They're like, oh, here's where you go to get your banners. Here's where you go to do this. And those were tips that I got in the vendor ready training. But then they're also giving me their experience and they're encouraging the same things like have demos, do this. Great way to get people to actually stop at your booth is XYZ. And like they want me to be successful too. And I have loved that. That has been amazing.
Katrina, if there's a vendor like Charlie that wants to become a part of your ecosystem, how do they get involved?
Yeah, so you can find me at gratefulgardenllc.com and you can like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Grateful Garden LLC. That's where we're going to be hosting a lot of the videos where you're going to see a lot of the vendors starting to be promoted on there as well. So you'll get to hear real stories from real businesses in your community.
I'm checking the weather for next Saturday, and it looks like 84 and clear. So it's going to be warm, but doable, comfortable. It's going to be a great weekend. If you'll indulge me, I have a quick bonus round for you both, Katrina and Charlie. And maybe Katrina, you answer first, and then Charlie, that'll actually give you a leg up because you'll have a moment to think about your answer. But we're going to call this a very low pressure bonus lightning round right now. And Katrina, I imagine you'll navigate this politically if you need to, but what's your favorite Colorado grown product to buy at a market?
Cherries. Yeah, there's only like a 3-week period that cherries are like in season. And so it's my favorite short season thing. 100%.
Charlie, favorite Colorado grown product to buy at a market?
Well, the peaches. I love those peaches.
Katrina, what's your most memorable customer interaction? Do you have a anecdote, a quick one that you can regale us with?
Yes. In Green Valley Ranch, you start to see people every single week. This becomes part of their tradition.
Yeah.
And for 2 years straight, this one customer, she was just a beautiful human being. She talks to all the vendors, and every single time she'd be like, man, I really want to do this. By her 3rd year of coming to our markets, she set up her own booth.
Wow. How cool. Oh, cool. Charlie, how about you?
Well, I just started coming to the Green Valley Ranch, and I am so excited to see people that have followed me that have been out to our farm for some of our farm to table classes. And they're like, I was looking for you. I heard that you were going to be here. And so they came to see me, and just big hugs and seeing people and just so much fun. That really is that connection.
Last one, Katrina, what's your go-to farmer's market snack?
Oh my gosh, whatever anyone will feed me. I will literally, like, you hand me something to eat at a market, I will eat it. And so that is my favorite thing, actually, is that every single one of you love to feed me. So thank you.
Charlie, do you have a favorite go-to market snack?
Well, it really is opportunistic, but I am parked right across from the freeze-dried candy guy. And he's just a fun vendor to talk to. He has been so helpful and supportive in getting us started. And he's like, you want to trade? We trade here. And I'm like, what? So then I found out that all the vendors trade, and I've loved everything I've had so far. And it's so weird because I'm not a candy person, but it was as much the experience of working with him as it was his product. I just loved it.
Thank you so much, Katrina and Charlie. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for bringing such a cool event to Aurora. We're very excited to experience Mershop Market Days. And thank you for spending some time with me today.
Absolutely.
Farmers markets are about so much more than shopping. They're places where neighbors connect, small businesses grow, and local stories, come to life. If you'd like to experience Mershop Market Days for yourself, head over to Town Center at Aurora and discover the vendors, farmers, makers, and entrepreneurs that are helping to shape Aurora's vibrant local economy. It's the last 2 Saturdays of every month, June through September, and you can learn more now at townceneraurora.com. Visit Aurora is the official destination marketing organization for the city of Aurora, Colorado, and acts as the primary liaison between meeting planners and hotel partners. As Aurora's Convention and Visitors Bureau, Visit Aurora's mission is grounded in showcasing Aurora as a premier destination for meetings, business, and leisure travel. Visit Aurora represents more than 60 hotel properties with 11,500 guest rooms and more than 1 million square feet of meeting space, including Colorado's largest and newest resort, Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center. As Colorado's third largest city, Aurora is located minutes away from Denver International Airport and showcases mountain views, memorable meeting spaces, and 400-plus international eateries that offer a unique experience for each and every visitor. As the gateway to the Rockies, Visit Aurora's role in the community goes beyond marketing the city as a destination. The Visit Aurora team is here to assist you with your Colorado visit, from facilitating your meeting, event, or convention to helping you discover local flavor and attractions. Go beyond the boardroom in Aurora. For more, visit us at visitaurora.com.